why you can.
We
I have a
we
question
can't
from
even
Russian
loot.
guild.
We can't even loot open carts that are sitting on top of
No,
blueprints.
I'm not talking about open cars. I'm talking about coops.
I'm talking about coops as well. I'm talking about like half the stuff that's on the Excel sheet, Bobik. We are
You
unable
can
to
loot
actually.
from coops. You can loot from coops from bloomeries. You can do it. It's.
But it doesn't
I
matter.
have a question from Russian guild translating. Bobik, why people are not taking more damage where they are naked compared to where they are in armor? Basically, it's the same.
I agree. Yeah.
So you want to say that armor is not working?
No, it means that it's not giving you any real advantage, even give you disadvantage of decreased speed, which is essential.
What he's asking is basically is to make it so nakeds take more damage, because right now they are almost like
Gypsy
able to take the same damage as someone wearing armor. Like armor's useful, it is, but people are going naked for the no risk because they can still take a lot of damage while they're naked.
Yeah, and they're faster,
like,
and the armor slows you down, so they have a big advantage. A guy with a Bardage can just run around like owning people in armor.
and Bardage
There's
is
no risk.
very cheap.
If they were a lot weaker while they're naked, if they take a lot more damage when they're naked, that would balance it.
No, okay, well, I will let Binner to know. Maybe we will have to boost slashing damage more versus naked. I mean, the main idea is that slashing bonus is something that should like demolish people without armor. But of course we don't want to have one hit kills, so we will still have to hit a couple times at that naked guy. But again, it should be addressed to Binner. I understand your concerns. So I will
make break bonds more 2 times.
Right.
When you wear armor, it save you from bond breakage. When you're naked, it break you bond.
Well, it actually should save, and as far as I know, at least we have fixed fractures from hits and from low damage hits. And actually, well, armor should prevent a lot of fractures. Probably it's another bug that we have to take a look at.
Can we talk about the sledgehammer?
I have a question. I have a question regarding fighting, if I may. Are you aware that some hits are going through players without hitting them?
Well, we had some reports, but I think that's something with lag compensation. Well, at least I know that there are some people got killed from a distance because of the lag compensation.
Yes,
okay,
the lag,
dann hören wir mal nicht mal rein hier über das mit Bobik und ja, hören mal mit zu.
I just tested it. I had a guy in front of me and I hit him like 15 times and only got hit half of the time. The shovel, the pipe, the axe went through it. I have no, sorry, but I can provide it if you want.
Yes, would be nice.
Just yes, I would. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you're talking about hitting a standing guy, or just
it's
not
just
all hits
moving or standing. I tried both. I can make a video with both, and I will send it to you.
Yes, would be nice because so far it sounds really weird.
There is a video on YouTube of the arena guy just selling the Serker as he's talking about that. That's why it came to me because, and then I tested it today and I saw it was accurate. Sometimes people tend to overreact or exaggerate, but that guy wasn't exaggerating. It went right through him. I will make a video. Thank you.
Okay.
If I can ask a question, what's going on? I mean, I don't know what this protest is or something.
I don't know either.
I have no idea. What the hell? Somebody please.
It's because there's too many irrelevant questions being asked about stuff that doesn't even pertain to the original issue. Like I get the swords, I get the naked killing, I get all this stuff, but people are here because they want to discuss the JH mechanics and discuss open world PvP.
Not only there is bugs, some Russian guys write me, I'm sorry, I take so much time. Next question from another guild is, will you bring back the cooldown on sprint mode? Because now you can run in war mode without cooldown.
Well, it was an intentional change, and the feedback Alex and me received is mostly positive. I mean, there are some people who are frustrated by that, but in most cases, it's a positive change. It removes the unnecessary stops, and mechanics for newcomers is way clearer because the sprint cooldown was not obvious. You cannot see it, you can only feel it, and that made a lot of new players quite amused about what the fuck is going
You
on.
make PvP more easy for new players comparing to the one who are more experienced.
Well, I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't.
It is because blocks basically require you some skill. It require you to make risk, to wait, to delay. The same with the speed. You need to calculate.
It's a competitive game, mate.
Yes, it's competitive. It's like Counter Strike or something. And now it's not. It's you push the button, and
For example, so back in the day, right, you had to watch your stamina all the time because you would run out of stamina. Now you basically never run out of stamina, so you never really have to watch your stamina. Aside from that, you have
and you run,
and also
you run faster in.
there's another example though. For example, if you go to swing, I know this might have been implemented to fix maybe some stamina bugs or something, but I know now when you swing and you're low stamina, you just cancel the swing so you don't stam out. So that's also another factor that benefits new players. I mean, I guess I don't know if you could clarify if it's to benefit newer players to be good at the system, or it's just like a bug, or I don't know.
I think it's the old players struggling to adapt to the new way. Which
it's not that big of a deal. It's like a failsafe for new players.
Like, just adapt to it and you'll find it's not that bad fighting with this new stamina system. And like me personally, I just find it alright. Like, you can still kill people.
No, I have
it's
adapted,
not like stopping you from.
But it doesn't change the fact that it's noob friendly.
I have a question.
What's the big deal? You know, like you want more players in the game, don't you?
I mean, yeah, but sure, I don't. The thing is, a game like this, it's one of its best elements is the PvP system, right? It's about having a good combat system in this game. That's one of the.
Yeah, but you can still run out of stamina. You still stam out if you like run and swing at the same time.
If you get parried in a low stamina, you go into like breathing mode. You're dead. So it's different,
but it's about the same time as you getting stunned anyway from a block.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's pretty good to be honest.
It's like the way they've changed the stun now.
Okay, guys.
Bobik, can
I have
ask
a
you
question,
one
Bobik.
one more about testers? Maybe we have a feeling we just want to ask you, and maybe you can find people in community who can help you in the future to test your new updates. So we have a feeling that people leave after your fail update. Sorry, I will must say you. Maybe you can find the people who will be ready help you with testing updates, because I always saw this a lot of times. Well, you add some new fall really bad update. Be honest, people just quit from the game, and from my side, I think it's really big problem. So when you make update, we have a feeling you testers don't do their job really good. Sorry to say that.
If I am able to speak.
So let me answer this question. First. First of all, a testing server is a good idea. It's nothing new, but the thing is that it takes a lot of efforts from actual game to establish it and run it and support it and so on and so forth. But at first, the thing is that right now we have a lot of bugs and issues that has to be fixed as soon as possible, and that means and some of them cannot be postponed any later. That's why we are having a lot of hot fixes and fixes right now. I do hope that in a couple of weeks we'll stabilize our game into the stage where there is nothing really serious in our game, not any real serious issues, and then well, probably we can consider some kind of beta test beta test of a beta test server, you know, and we will see. But my point is that back in your own days we had such a test server, and we had huge problems getting anyone into that.
Yeah,
So
so
we
can
have
can I just say something really quick? Okay, it's me, Ricard. Just to give you some quick context in here. Mighty is one of the leaders of one of the bigger alliances in the game right now, and I am probably one of the leaders of one of the other big alliances in the game right now, and we are enemies in game. And for once, I actually agree with him on what he said, and as a suggestion, if I am allowed to have one, I actually believe that for once we should create a platform, or you should gather the conditions to, at some point, bring people that you know and you trust and you've relied upon for several years, which is most of the veteran players and the leaders of these big guilds who are making really hard decisions, and sometimes we get ourselves in stressful situations that we have to make really fast decisions, that you bring these people closer to you to maybe better give you advice about certain things or certain directions that sometimes you take, or even have a test server, as Mighty suggested, where we can maybe discuss things, where we can maybe help you test certain mechanics and not decide for you, but help you make the best decision.
Yeah, we're ready, Bobik. I'm ready.
Or you could also pull. You could pull new features as well as they come in. Maybe just a quick pull, like a day or two before you even consider adding it. See how people feel.
Well, in one way or another, I already have it. I mean, the thieves and experience sacrifice was announced in Discord, and you actually had a thumbs up and thumbs down to vote for those features.
I wasn't talking about that. I want you to understand that some of us, we are leaving hundreds of people. It's not 10 guys, it's not 20. There are hundreds of people relying on our decisions, and we are constantly being hit by sometimes not as correct directions. I don't want to criticize too much, but I just feel that if you give us the opportunity at some point to at least have a more private discussion, or maybe give us a platform or where we can help you bring the best of the PvPers, bring the best of your players to help you test certain mechanics, maybe help you, giving you more accurate opinions about certain things. You've done that in the past.
Oh, okay, I understand that. So my answer is that beta test server is a good idea, but I'd like to avoid to pick any elite guilds, or any biased opinions here. So I know, I mean,
yeah, I
talk
understand.
with a lot of you privately, and you have your point of view from the perspective of the big guilds and PvP and big wars and alliances, but most of you never ever think about newbies or PvE players or other aspects of the game. I'm not trying to blame anyone or anything. I'm trying to stay away from anyone certain opinion. Not like staying away. I'm trying to be objective as much as possible.
I do understand that. What I'm suggesting, we're not trying to decide for you. We're just trying to help you make the best out of your decision. You have other similar games where you are inspiring yourself upon, like EVE Online, and even those devs, they will rely heavily on their veteran player base to make the best decisions for their game. So I don't think it's unusual or unreasonable to suggest you that you sometimes can rely on.
Well, you can't have you can't have the elitist guys like make all the calls for the game. It has to be, it's a game made by the players for the players.
Bobik, I have a
the elite
game
guys picking.
But sorry, guys, I want to
may
say
I have
this,
I have suggestion. I mean, on the topic in hand, it was this meeting was called upon the poll, right? The people wanting to the movable objects outside judgment hours, which takes them a lot of PvP content of the raiding and stuff. Is that correct? I believe there's 57% that voted no, are just in early stages, are people with small guilds that are afraid of raids and stuff because they're not ready still. I'm running, for example, I voted no. I'm running with a friend, that's a very small guild, we're 8 guys, 7 guys, and we haven't got our defenses up yet, so we're not really ready for being raided every 15-20 minutes or so. So I although I like PvP, I'm thinking about my guys here, most of them from Epeland, that don't know how to fight yet. And I thought of them, if we get raided, they would go. They would just abandon this guild, even though we're all friends and know each other for almost a year. So my recommendation is to, because I know the value of these what these guys are requesting with that movable objects outside Judgment Hour, that you repeat that poll and you set a limit. I think around 30% of the people who voted no will vote yes within a certain period of time when they are ready to face those raids.
We can run this poll in a month or in a couple of weeks from now. I don't mind.
Because I wouldn't just take it for granted that more than half, and 57-43, that's very close.
That's true.
So, lots of people voted no because that they don't think it's realistic that an armored guy can stand on a bark box.
An armored guy with 150 kilos. How do you want it to stand on a wooden box? Seriously, 150 kilos.
That's not the question here. The question is the fear. Is the fear of getting raided? That's it.
No,
that's all it is. It's not realistic.
It's ridiculous, guy.
Let me answer that, please. So, again, first of all, I don't mind to run this poll again in a couple of weeks or in a month. But what I copy pasted in GDMA, it's the private message I received like an hour ago or so, and so yeah, 90 people got raided when they were not online, and they made a bark box boost and took everything that they had. Yeah, they're noobs. Yeah, they didn't know how to hide. Well, they didn't hide it probably. They thought that walls will protect them, and they didn't protect them.
They can pick their own time zone. That is during Judgment Hour. It isn't even related to the top.
How the fuck did their stuff get taken if it's not GH?
Well, it was during GH, I believe, but they were not protected. But my point is, yeah, it's their own fault in one way or another. But on the other hand, minus 90 people. Maybe he's exaggerating. Maybe it's less people, but still, it's a whole guild that have lost the game. And the biggest problem of Life is Feudal. If you compare it with any other game, even if with Life is your own, Ark, Dust, Rust, all other games, the problem is that we have a lifelong session, a session that takes a year. And once you lose it, session, when you get a strong hit, in most cases, non-hardcore players would leave the game. And you can call them weaklings, you can call them noobs, and it might be true in one way or another because they have lost the game, but it doesn't make it easier for all of us, and especially for us here, because we are losing players. And trust me, it's really hard to get new players with all those reviews, with all those hardcore mechanics, with full loot, with moments when you can lose everything, with all those bugs and issues and all that stuff.
But Bobik, there's one interesting thing to bring up here.
Sorry, what?
I was just gonna say there's another interesting thing to bring up since you mentioned reviews. Is that you're saying you're not getting many because of the reviews, but have you analyzed the reviews carefully and actually looked at what people are really unhappy? For example.
Well, they're all different, but most of them before, now when we enabled free to play, most of them were it's not a free to play. And there is no way. But the point is, even before free to play, we had negative reviews. So if you are trying to say that it's free to play fault, no, it's not that. And there are some reviews. I think I saw some YouTube video analyzing negative reviews, and so in some cases, yeah, it makes me really surprised when there is a person with 4,000 hours logged into the game and he is leaving a negative review saying the game sucks, so they have wiped the Booyah. And what can we do there here?
Bobik, I have a solution.
Well, of course. What is the solution?
There is none.
Okay, go open a fund me and do everything for PvPers, and I will be on the of them.
I mean, you can't expect them to abandon.
Honestly, since we are talking here some kind of AMA and as I said, I always was a PvP person, and I still do consider myself. Well, I'm not like active PvP in MMORPGs anymore because I don't have that much time. But at least sometimes I play Counter Strike or some other games like PUBG or anything. So my point is that the game of my dreams is a PvP game where PvE players would be in symbiosis as PvP players. But I'm mostly PvP guy myself, and the fact that we have a full loot and full assets destruction actually proves it, because like it's a hit in your own leg for if you compare it with any other games. I mean, like
Yeah, but Bobik, I don't think anyone here is criticizing the game, and instead, what I'm actually
I'm just
trying
trying
to.
to. No, I'm just trying to explain myself or
Of course,
what I'm trying to do.
Our I think at least my personal issue with this is like sometimes I think you guys should have a better platform to allow people who are actually invested in the detailed mechanics of the game to help you find out these exploits and everything before you apply them into the real world. And I'm sure you are designing something for that in the future because it only makes sense.
Yeah, but people are interested in testing now, but in a month's time they won't want to test it.
We had a discussion about guys. We had a discussion about test server. What I'm trying to say, it will not solve the main problem of the game being too niche, game being too hardcore, and game being not so friendly to newbies. And well, yeah, game being too much PvP and too much loss, too much of disappointment that can happen at certain time of the game, and it is part of the game and it cannot be removed, but it doesn't make it easier for us to operate the game,
I have a couple comments, Bobby.
Yeah.
One about the green zone, right? Like, people that are built in the green zone should be PvEers, in my opinion. And allowing people to pop a guild claim right outside of the green zone, war deck people, and then hide all of their loot in the green zone is just supporting a troll mentality, which I disagree with. I think if you're at war with a guild, you should be able to kill them in the green zone, because if they want to hide in the green zone, then they should have to come out here and hit us and take alignment hits instead of just being able to pop a. I got a guild right by me that has a guild claim down. They have nothing built on it, but they just run and hide in it. All right, so I just want to make that comment. And the other comment about your player base and losing people. I'm a hardcore player, so I always stay no matter how grindy you make this game. But the more grindy you make it, the less friendly it is to everyone else. I've had a lot of my friends buy the game, they get in, they realize that it's going to take them 4 months to, max out their skill line. That's pretty off-putting to a lot of people, so I just want to make a comment about that. Of course, it's your game and you do what you want. I'm a hardcore player, so it don't bother me, but a
But
lot of new players.
what game exists that doesn't require months of to the end game? Like, there's no game I could think of that's an MMO that doesn't require, months. Like, how long did it take you to get to 60 in WoW? Not to bring up WoW, but
take Rust like 6 years.
I mean,
go play
Fortnite. If
they
you had
fix that
60 in WoW, you could do it in a week.
What it is this game is designed for a certain kind of player base, and it's like reaching to level 90 takes 2 weeks or so. That's not bad. When you're at level 90 with all your skills, people need to understand when you're level 90 that you've got everything, you've got all your cards on. Like,
exactly.
Getting 90 to 100, which takes months, is nothing really, because do you really need to be 100? No, but when you're at 100, yeah, you're a master at your craft and you've got a bit of pride in that. But to complain that you need to be, it's leveling up too slow, it's not really. Then people, I understand why they can look at it, 36 days, ugh. But getting from 0 to 60 only takes a week. It's nothing.
There is only one problem with only one class. There is problem with only one class. It's like a spearman with a shield that requires you like the few weeks of leveling to get to it.
So so sorry to interrupting you. I mean, I've been there many times. I don't know how this idiom Lu sounds in English, but in Russian it sounds like you don't see the forest behind the trees.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what's happening now. When I was talking about the overall, the high-level situation of the game, the next comments I receive about green zone trolling, spears and shields, and other trees. But the problem is with the whole forest. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm talking with you about. And but everyone is standing on the ground and he's looking straight at certain tree and saying what kind of problem with that tree he sees. Because I'm seeing the whole forest, and that's why I'm saying that everyone should understand that if you really want to help the game and if you really want like I believe that the reason why we are talking here because none of all of us care about the game, you know. And if you really care about the game and if you want to make it easier, like you can do it way easier if you will try to fly up and try to take a look on the whole situation rather than a certain small aspects, bugs, or you know, initial aspects of the game. Just our thought, yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, the progression of the game, like, taking a lot longer is actually way better. Like, in the past, the game felt like it was just I don't know, like an exaggerated version of your own. So yeah, it feels more like an MMO now, so I wouldn't really take those complaints.
No, I agree with you. I mean, that kind of feedback I received mostly. I mean, like in my subjective subjective feeling, like 95% of players were saying it's cool to have such system offline XP and longer progression and so on and so forth. And there were even one person who was freaking into my private messages saying you have killed the game. I mean, I hear that I'm killed the game or killing the game like 100 times a day, and that person was providing at least 20 times a day of such words. And but after 2 weeks, he said, "I'm sorry, you were right, and I like it," and so on and so forth. I mean, sometimes, sometimes I just want to go away somewhere in the Himalayan mountains and just do something
I know
else.
how you feel, man. I know how.
I guess what Bobik's saying is just you guys need to look at the game from the developer point of view. That you want new players and you want players to stay. You don't want guys to join, get killed, and leave. That's just the main problem with PvP.
I'm a new player, and my perspective in hearing everybody talk here is that perhaps what has to be implemented is two different types of PvP. One, where you raid, and you can do that very often, where the purpose is to go and get resources. Hey, there's this guild beside me, we're about the same level, I need some of the stuff that they have. The other type of PvP, it's I want this land. I want to take over. I want to wipe these guys. So perhaps in a way to implement those two things. And when you're raiding in the first one, what people lose is not what you can grab. What they lose is a percentage of what they have. So that way you're not wiping noobs because you can, go there, raid the guys over and over and over again. They're just going to lose a percentage of what they have. They're never going to leave the game and say, I'm done.
They will. That's the problem. They will. And I'll just copy pasted you one of the quotes. Because, I mean, well, if you have empty structures but now no items, you will leave because you have spent a lot of efforts for that. I mean, of course, if you have, I mean, I'm glad that full loot is working. I mean, nobody is getting too much upset if they lose their armor or a set of weapons or whatever when they are fighting outside. But when it goes to the bigger scale and when we are losing a lot of resources that you collectively gathered for a guild, in most cases, not everyone can stand it. Unfortunately. Well,
Bobik,
can I can understand that.
Bobik, described as JH and IBs, isn't that what you just described? Like the separation between them, like
separation of what? No, I didn't understand.
Like the two different JH or two different type of rating. What he's talking about, like if you're trying to wipe someone, you drop an IB.
So what we have now is actually 3 levels of PvP activities. Well, first of all, it's just strictly for EPing and some kind of economical control is provinces, IBs and provinces. I believe it's really good because in case if you lose an IB, you don't lose your resources. You just lose some pride, but nothing else. you will have to pay the taxation, 20% taxation. It will be a bit frustrating, but you will realize it. But you will not lose like anything significant, and that's why I like the IBs and provinces. Second level, let me finish, is raiding during GH. In that case, you lose something that is not that valuable to you, or forgot to hide, or somebody who was trying to hide behind the walls but got killed. And in that case, maybe later on we will make it possible for raiders to force open the doors in some way or another. So in that case, nobody will be able to hide during the raid, but the movable objects and items will be safe if they are stored in warehouses, in houses, and so on and so forth.
Well,
and that third level.
Sorry,
The third level, just let me finish. The third level is assets destruction, is a military outpost, level 3, burning, and trebuchets and siege and all that stuff. So that's how I envision current 3 levels of PvP guild-to-guild engagements.
Yeah, and I think that's very important though. I think it's about the risk versus reward, which is what people are interested in. I mean, like I think people want to feel like when they go somewhere they gain something from it, and they maybe make their enemies lose something. I don't think anyone's advocating that they want to wipe everyone off the map from a simple raid, for example. But I think people just want a raid to feel meaningful and to have gain from a raid.
Again, I understand your perspective of the tree you are looking at. I believe you understand my point, yeah. But the thing is that I have a lot of PMs about the guilds, about the small groups of PvP players who know how to PvP, and they're just going on a genocide mode on all the neighboring villages or small PvE guilds or whatever. And yeah, at the end they force them to leave, and after that those PvP guys go elsewhere. I do understand, I do trust, I do believe you that you, the big guys of big guilds, are trying to keep some kind of fair play and not to force people out of the game, but you must keep in mind that there are a lot of players who are playing their own life as Feudal, and you don't know about them, and they don't know about you, but they still do what they do.
I honestly don't think that.
Bobik.
I don't think that's true because for several reasons. Zero, shut up. I don't think that's true because most of these big alliances, they actually help newer guilds, they help newer players, they bring these players into a healthy environment where they are protected. Sometimes they are not, but these guilds work really hard to protect them and to secure them and to give them good content. So when you're I understand where you're going, but when you say that sometimes we don't care for these players, sometimes we don't care for these guilds.
No, please, you misunderstand. I'm not talking about you at all. I do trust that you try to do that. What I'm trying to say is that there are other PvP players that you don't know about, that are acting not correctly. That's what I'm trying to say.
I know one of them, but I mean, how do you propose, like, I mean, like, so this is the point. You're trying to balance loads of different variables, right? You're trying to balance the guys that just want to go crazy and kill everybody. You want to balance the guys that want to do a little bit of PvP. You want to balance, like, I mean, what's the...
Yes, that's a problem. We have a lot of people, a lot of PvP, different types of PvP and PvE players, and all of them in one game. And that's the vote. The vote, it's something that we that we get usually. I mean, I would be glad to see a vote that will result in something, you know, like 80% to 20%, or 90% to 10%, or at least 75% to 25%. But no, it's always around 50%. It's always this almost equal amount of players that are wanting different type of things. And okay, Bobik, do something for that.
You just need to remember you can't please everyone. Like, you just need to make sure the game's appealing to players. Like, it doesn't matter if it's new players or old players, as long as it appeals to someone, then you're making the step in the right direction.
Well, when it appears, well, that's why, of course, I understand that. But the thing is that one cannot exist without others.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you need new players.
That's the hugest cross that we have to bring, that we have to carry. And whenever somebody of you tells that I'm killing the game, just please understand from that point of view that I'm trying to do to keep it alive, and whatever changes I'm doing is in order to keep it alive.
I appreciate everything you're trying to do. I think some people are coming from some bad perspectives, maybe from the previous gameplay mechanics, things like that. You're actually doing really well. This is the best iteration so far of this that I've played, and I want to say I appreciate it. I will tell you this. I will tell you this still. Your open world. I personally hate bark boxes. I think it's the dumbest thing that I can exploit that to get into a base. I would rather have siege ladders. I'd rather have more cooked open world mechanics. Like when you said siege ladders, I threw my hands in the air and said, "Hallelujah!" I'm happy with that. I would like to see. I'd like to see another thing, like if you can figure out how to make buildings modular, have attachments to buildings in some kind of way, even if it's just only a certain type of build. Like making movable objects. I know it's a hard design thing. You don't want to have to do the horse cart thing all over again for another 4 years. I got that. But if there's any option, please take them. Even if they're half-assed looking, if they work like battering rams or gates, things like that are destroyed right after Judgment.
So since I'm crying here in a voice chat, so let me continue doing that. Well, of course there are millions of features that can be added to our game, and about 500,000 of those features will actually benefit for the game, and it will make the game better. And I mean that's another problem of our game, because in case of Counter-Strike, nobody would think about suggesting boats or modular buildings or anything, you know. But in our game, everything can fit. Everything will benefit the game. But I believe you do understand that we have limited resources, all type of resources, and the more we add into the game, the less stable it makes. The more efforts we have to keep it stable, to fix it, and the more I don't know how it sounds in English, but in Russian there is it's a mathematical term. It's combinatorial explosion. I'm not sure if I translated it correct in English, but the thing is that the more elements in the system you have, the more connections between them, and each element increase amount of connections. And in that case, whenever we add a new feature, that means there will be a lot of ways how it can be exploited, how it can cause a crash, how it can cause a bugs. And so that's why what I'm trying to say, that when we consider a feature, we must sure that it's like something that will really change the whole game and doesn't take us 4 years to implement. And 0 to 0 and 0 to 5 patches are one of those examples. One which trying to change rules, but not mostly rules and some simple mechanics that would change the how the game feels and looks like. So what I'm trying to say, that whenever you have a suggestion that you think will be super interesting, just try to consider how hard it will be to implement, how much it will be exploited by anyone, or ways how it can be exploited, and just try to be objective. Do you think it really changed the gameplay for most of the players in the game, or only for even you, a couple of your friends?
Well, yeah, basically what you're saying is more like implements more problems. Essentially, it's just not worth the time most of the time to add new things unless they're really game changing.
Well, I mean, again, guys, I don't mind adding new thing to our game, but the situation right now is that we have to be careful with that, and we have to prioritize it in that way that it will be. Well, the profit, I'm not talking about financial profit, but also important, but the profit for the gameplay for the most of the players will be obvious. And
you think that encourages lots of people that they can, like, in the north we see lots of claim that is run by one guy, like they're claiming so much land. Now they can literally pay with real life money, claiming so much land as a source.
And I'm asking, why are you concerned about it? There is a person living in the other part of the world. He doesn't connect with you at all. If you want, you can IB his province and get a shit ton of taxation from him. And I'm wondering, why are you so concerned about him? If you will,
He's claiming so much land, like as one guy.
so what? So what? I mean,
there's plenty of room.
You need resources to wipe him. You need outposts to upgrade them to tier 3. And to
Okay,
this monument.
On aggro. On aggro.
Okay, what multiple please? Whatever.
He's gonna run out of money.
What I'm trying to say that when you see a person who owns a lot of land, if you don't need it, why do you care? If you do need it, if he's one person guild, you can military outpost level 3, you can capture his outposts, you can capture his province because he's alone.
Really, we want to spend it not.
Well, no, that's wrong. No, it will be 1 hour for prime time. There is always Judgment Hour. Come on.
There's always a judgment hour, yeah.
1 person.
That's if you want to do it. If he annoys you that much, like it's
Can
one
I
guy.
raise a quick concern?
That allows
Like, why don't you just take his province and get a shit ton of money out of it?
Yes, that's exactly.
I
That's
don't
what
get
I
it.
said.
Why are you so frustrated by it? Like, just capture his
Thank
province.
you. Thank you, kind sir, for.
Yeah, but it's a free income. It's just free gold for you. You just capture the
Only
province.
one monument from the guy.
Guys, what's the
sick
point
belly.
of that? We're looking for
Because the
fights,
income.
not income.
Okay, anyway, Bobby, can you please make updates not to go in the Russian prime time? Ask one Russian guild.
What?
Can you make the updates of the game not in the Russian prime time?
That's
maybe
just not
in
possible.
weekends,
That's just
maybe
not
in
possible.
evening hours.
That's when
Well, guys. So of course we can, but again, we are not doing that on purpose. The thing is
Do
that.
it in Spanish.
That's a ridiculous request.
Yeah, can
Well,
you also have
tomorrow-
none in the
tomorrow-
UK prime time?
Tomorrow, quick fix patch will be during the morning time, so there will be no prime time there. Or maybe it will be United States west part prime time, but nothing.
Super quick, moving back to the. We've experienced so far trying to fight, enemies and stuff who've built very close to the green zones, and they're employing tactics such as soon as you try and siege them, they're running into the green zone and firing out with crossbows and arrows. Or they are actually building their monuments so close to the green zone that they can actually place buildings such as warehouses and that inside. Is there any sort of, fix or solution to that, which to me seems like
Move, that's right. Yeah.
Move.
Move our enemy?
No, move your base.
What he means by that is like, you shouldn't be trying to. If you get annoyed, you're fighting some guy. He keeps running into the green zone. Don't fight him. That's basically what you mean.
Is it possible to put like one mechanic of like if you go outside of the green zone and you attack someone, you should get like a criminal thing, and let's say for 15 minutes or 30, and then even if you go to the green zone, you'll be able to get attacked because you were a criminal.
Yeah, but he just explained that you should not fight on the green zone if you do not comply with it.
Okay. No. So I think you misunderstood what I was explaining. So our enemy guild who has been attacking us, they have built nearby. It was a big guild, 100 plus, and they have built some of their buildings inside the green zone and some outside. Are they PvE or are they PvP? Or is that sort of abusing the system of, okay, we're going to attack other people, but we're going to have all of our stuff protected by the...
Yeah, but are you in the green zone or not?
No.
No.
I'm not in the green zone.
Why are you living? Why are you living on the border of a green zone then?
It's no. Again, you're misunderstanding. Our guild is nowhere near the green. The guild we are attacking and are attacking us have built next to the green zone. So our enemy.
But they are attacking us.
Okay, guys.
But how do we?
Somebody please keep this discussion without me. One or two questions, and I'd like to go if you don't mind.
Thank you. You spend time for listening us, and I think you understand our main point. We propose you to help in test. Maybe you can back to this because main point we think some experienced play they can understand more better meta in this game than Binard. So we have this feeling we understand it's like curse. You can play this game, but some of experienced players can share their opinion with you.
I'm
Right?
contact.
So if you
Well,
need us,
again,
we
we are.
always welcome.
Again, I'm never dodging any feedback and any
Yeah, we know.
explanation as far as it's constructive and argumented.
Yeah, but we
Just
sorry.
throw it at me, throw it at Binard.
Because we also understand that sometimes it's easy to be out of touch with what actually happens in game, and I don't think there's any better than some of us to maybe give you context so you can base better your decisions. That's all. We're not wanting to decide for you. We don't want to influence you in any way. We just wanted to give you the tools and maybe some more context what's going on in game. It just develops and evolves, and also maybe give you some of our best players to help you say what the meta actually is, because as a developer sometimes can be really easy to just get out of touch with what the meta can be and can't, because you're not playing the game 24/7. So
No, well, again, guys. So again, we're moving in circles. Well, of course, your feedback is valuable. Of course, you can tell us what is right, what is wrong. The thing is that there are a lot of you, and you tell different things. And all we have to do, we have to measure your feedback. We have to measure feedback of other players, and we have to assess the logs and assess our data and see the actual situation. Well, so what I'm trying to say, we never dodging your feedback, and if Binart is not answering you now, it doesn't mean that he didn't read it, or it doesn't mean that he
of
will
course
read it sometimes later.
it's,
And
I know it's sometimes, yeah, it's like everybody has an opinion, everybody has an expectation, everyone's opinion is different, and it's just virtually impossible for you to deal with every single opinion of every single player in this game. It's impossible. We understand that, and that's why,
especially since they are different.
of course, that's why some, I don't know, what I'm trying to propose is maybe, and Mighty is also proposing the same, is offering maybe some more curated opinion that comes from a place of experience in the game, because we're not playing this game for 10 days. I've actually been playing this game for almost 5 years, and it's almost impossible for you to not recognize some nicknames in this game already, because we've been here for years, 5 years, but it's all 10 days.
No, yeah, I do agree with you, and so again, I think we're already following this way because if some random guy drops me a line that
It's ample
Lancers
time in
suck,
17
I
minutes.
want to be a strong Lancer, well, okay.
Sorry,
I
an
want to
hour.
see the veterans providing feedback with argumentation, with facts, with videos and logs or whatever. Of course, it's a higher, it have a more weight in our eyes, of course.
Yeah, make a vote for blocking, please. I think it's.
Yeah, it's too much make vote about small things. It's not serious. I think all the battle system need to make rebalance. So they have a more problem right now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I
just
agree
try
with Mighty
to-
on that.
Can we just point out this process
Please
as in for
understand,
suggestions?
they have a much more big problems right now. Your fucking block. Seriously.
Bobik, could you comment on the 100% loot rate? Do you agree that it ruins the economy over a period of time because we're going to have inflation?
No, so I saw your question in private chat. I don't understand what you're talking about. How the ability to steal something from other player can create an inflation.
Okay,
it's
it's
not like
easy.
you are duping those armors.
No, it's just we produce armor, and then over time it's gonna be more and more in the economy, and we won't need to produce anymore. It's basically it happened in Avalon.
Look, mate, look, you need to make coin to feed your claims later on when there's an influx of armor and you've got shitloads of it. You're just gonna sell it. What's the point keeping hold of it? Because what you're gonna do, make wooden staffs for the rest of your life.
Exact.
You're not
I agree, Mike.
Yeah, the new system where you need gold solves pretty much that thing.
Just by God's favor.